So, let's talk about something that's quietly sabotaging your financial life. The battle raging inside your head between your ancient, survival driven brain and the crazy, complex world of modern money.
It's a question that drives a lot of people nuts. You can be smart, hardworking, successful in every other area of your life, and still find yourself making money choices that, looking back, make absolutely no sense. Well, the answer has almost nothing to do with how smart you are and everything to do with your biology.
And this, right here, is the core of the problem. Your brain's operating system, it was coded for survival on the savannah, like 50,000 years ago. So every time you open a banking app or look at a stock chart, that ancient software is trying to process a world it was never, ever designed for. This isn't a personal failure. It's a biological mismatch.
Think about it. For pretty much all of human history, evolution cared about three main things for keeping you alive: dealing with scarcity, getting rewards right now, and keeping your status high in a small tribe. Those traits were essential back then. But today, they're the very things that can keep you broke. Let's break down exactly how.
Okay, first up, the scarcity trap. Your ancestors lived in a constant cycle of feast or famine. Finding a rare source of food wasn't just a nice surprise. It was literally the difference between living and dying. And that instinct, it is still very, very alive in your brain today. What's so wild is how perfectly our ancient triggers line up with our modern habits. That huge dopamine hit your brain got when an ancestor found a berry bush is the exact same one you get from a limited time offer. Your brain doesn't get that the berries in a flash sale are basically infinite. It still acts like it needs to grab everything it can before winter hits. And that leads us straight to what we call retail therapy. When you're feeling stressed or out of control, your ancient brain goes back to its number one survival plan: get more stuff. The purchase gives you this little temporary feeling of being in control, a chemical reward for surviving a threat that wasn't even real. But of course, the feeling fades, and now you have the same old problem plus a new bill to worry about. Now that brings us right to our next big instinct. If our urge to spend is a survival mechanism gone wrong, our fear of investing is a straight-up predator response, and it's rooted in a really deep evolutionary bias. For your ancestors, missing out on some fruit was a bummer, but missing the sign of a lion in the grass, that was fatal. Because of this, our brains are literally hardwired to obsess over negative stuff. It's why losing $100 feels way, way more painful than the joy of gaining $100. And this just perfectly illustrates the problem. Your brain sees a plunging stock chart and processes it with the same fight or flight panic it once used for a real-life threat. Your logical mind might know that markets go up and down, but your ancient brain is screaming, danger. And that causes you to panic and make terrible decisions, like selling everything at the absolute worst time. But here's the real kicker. By trying so hard to avoid the perceived risk of investing, we fall right into the guaranteed loss of doing nothing. Keeping your money safe in a savings account means it's just being quietly eaten away by inflation year after year. Your brain's alarm system is built for lions, not for the slow, silent threat of economics. All right, the third major glitch in the system is our obsession with social status. For our ancestors, status wasn't about ego, it was pure survival. High status meant you got more food, better protection. Low status meant you were vulnerable. That deep, deep drive to compare ourselves is baked right into our DNA. Here's the problem, though. Our social comparison software was designed for a tribe of maybe 150 people. Today, social media is force-feeding it an endless highlight reel from billions of people. So your brain sees a friend's fancy vacation post and interprets it as a direct threat to your own social standing, creating this biological pressure to keep up, even if it means going deep into debt. And that right there is the engine that drives what we call lifestyle creep. The second you get a raise, that money just gets vacuumed up by a bigger apartment or a new car payment, all to signal your new higher status to this massive digital tribe. You end up financing a life for an audience that honestly isn't even paying that much attention. So if our own instincts are the problem, what on earth are we supposed to do? Well, the answer isn't try harder or have more willpower, because your pre-stork brain is going to win that fight every single time. The real solution is to build systems. Think of them as guardrails that protect your money from your own biology.
So here are 4 simple but honestly game-changing systems you can put in place. The goal here is to make the smart financial choice the default, the easy choice. We're going to automate our savings so we don't even have to think about it, create a cool-down period for impulse buys, learn to separate our feelings from our finances, and totally change how we measure the true cost of things.
Let's dig into that first one, automation. See, your brain is fundamentally wired to conserve energy, which is why things like budgeting feel like such a chore. Automation just bypasses that completely. By setting up automatic transfers for the day you get paid, the money is already invested before your impulsive brain even knows it's there and gets the urge to spend it on a quick dopamine hit. And that brings us to this idea, which is a total mental reset. Stop measuring things in dollars and start measuring them in hours of your life. A $1,000 phone isn't just $1,000. It's 40, maybe 50 hours of your one finite life on this planet that you had to trade for it. When you frame it like that, all those must-have gadgets suddenly don't seem so important, do they?
So here's the main takeaway from all of this. You can't just delete this ancient software. The fear, the scarcity mindset, the status games, they're always going to be there. But just being aware of them, that's the first step. By understanding what drives you, you can build systems that let your modern, logical brain stay in the driver's seat.
Because at the end of the day, real wealth isn't just a number, it's a psychological skill. It's that quiet power you get when you can just observe your own primal urges without having to act on them, choosing what's best for you long-term over what feels good right now. That is the real asset.
Look, understanding these hidden patterns is the key. It's how you finally take back control. It's not about fighting your brain, it's about working with its design to build a life of financial freedom. So the only question left is, are you ready to upgrade your OS?